Hi guys, so in this video I'll just cover the setup procedure for the FaceStation 2 by Suprema. In addition to the general setup, I'll show you how to upgrade the firmware to version 1.3, which is required because within BreeCS, when you scan a face, there is a tick box that allows you to select whether the person has admin rights or does not have admin rights. And this basically affects the on-screen menu on the device and determines whether or not someone can scan their face and edit that menu system, which includes, all the device configuration, IP address settings, add a user from the device itself, etc. So version 1.3 enables the ability for the SDK to set that setting. If you don't enable it, then basically you can't set anyone as admin, and if you don't set anyone as admin, then everyone is admin. So that means everyone will be able to access the menu system, which you don't want. So you'd make sure that you've got version 1.3 or above installed, flashed to the device, and then obviously everything will work as intended. So within the BreeCS download, version 4.2, so let me just go up here. So we've got the bin folder, and inside the bin folder we've got Suprema, and inside that we've got FaceStation 2 firmware. We've got these bin binary files. What we need to do is copy those binary files to C program files BioStar 2 x64 firmware. And note that is program files, not program files x86, because this is the 64-bit version of the software. So you basically copy the bin files from that folder that you which is included in the BreeCS download, to this folder, and then basically when you go to the configuration, BioStar will pick up on that and allow you to apply that firmware to the device. So now if we jump over to the BioStar interface, which is just through a web browser, Google Chrome. So by default you'll go straight to the dashboard when you log in. We'll click device. We'll see one or more devices in that list. And then for each device in the list we want to check the version of the firmware. And if it's not 1.3 then we upgrade it. So click the first device in the list. As we can see, this one is already 1.3, but if it wasn't, because you've copied those binary files across, you can basically click firmware upgrade, and then it will select the most recent version of firmware in that list, or give you multiple options, and then you'll be able to basically select it and obviously allow you to update that. Obviously this is not going to allow me to update because it is already running version 1.3 and there is no update past that at the current time. So that covers the firmware. So once you've done that, then it will be running, it will reboot, it will apply the firmware patches, at which point you can then come back to this page, and then you would scroll all the way down the bottom. I mean, at the top, where you can obviously set the date format, day, month, year, obviously for UK. Then we'll scroll down. So you've got DHCP. So obviously, if you're connecting the FaceStation to a network that has a router, because it has internet connectivity, then if you want, you can leave that ticked. But in all honesty, if I was you, I'd want to set it as a static IP address so it never changes, because BreeCS is going to want you to physically type in what IP address is of each of the readers. So you would turn that off, and then you would set your IP address, subnet mask, gateway here. Device port, we can just leave that as standard because BreeCS will connect on the default device port. So it will just be your IP address, your gateway. Obviously, if you have a router, you would set that. If you don't, then it doesn't need to be set because it only needs the gateway if you're going to route traffic from one device to another in respect of a local to a LAN to a WAN. So basically IP address, subnet mask. I will leave this in my instance ticked because it's just set up on my home network, so that's fine. Then we will scroll all the way down the bottom, and then we will click the advanced to expand, and then down the bottom here we want to find the Wigan section. So by default and out of the box it's set to Wigan input. We want to change that to output, so when we present our face it will output Wigan. Again, I don't know whether this is Suprema Pacific in respect of the pulse width and the interleave, but then to my knowledge they're not standard, and that's not that the net2 AC won't accept those. So basically the default standard in quote marks would be 50 microseconds for pulse width and 2000 microseconds or 2 milliseconds for the interleave. And then we'll select, make sure it's set to card ID, because BreeCS will assign a card, as in a Wigan output number, for each person that is enrolled. And then basically once you've done that, you can click apply, and at which point the device is set up and would output Wiegand 26-bit with the correct interleave and pulse width, and the firmware would be up to date. Okay guys, thanks for watching.